Episode 20. Welcome. You have a nice round number. This is Gavin Pef, Pef, Pfeffer. Pfeffer. How do you? I already forgot what you told me.
Yeah, Pfeffer, either one, Pfeiffer. Whenever teachers would like even say it growing up, like when like especially substitute teachers when they announce your name, like when they're going through like a call list or something like that, I would just say, "Yep, here," or
Yeah.
respond to anything.
My struggle with my name was teachers always spelt it with an IE.
Really, I
Yeah.
suppose it can be spelled like that, but
I'd
not
never met a male that has IE
no,
personally.
either by.
So, anyways, that kind of sums up teachers in, I think, a different class altogether. So,
Yeah.
anyways, what's been going on?
Oh, just been working, hobby like we've been talking about, trying to be a little bit healthier, eat better. A
Hmm.
lot of steps. We've been stepping a lot lately. 10,000 a
Yeah.
day. Trying
Yeah.
to stay on consistent with that and trying to stay away from the Doritos.
How far along are you in your weight loss journey? Have you been tracking it?
Yeah, I have a little bit. I'm still in the early stages of it for sure. Because going through the winter was tough because, it's just so cold out, especially here in Minnesota. You deal with, there's really not much else to do except in the winter, just eat a lot of food and you don't do a lot of moving either. So ever since it got a little bit warmer out, I would say like
Hmm.
around the time we went on that first walk at Fort Snelling State Park.
Yeah.
So that was a month or two ago now, at least, when that day we got Wingstop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Around,
And what was the other thing we got? We got two things that day.
yeah,
Yeah, Culver. We got Culver's, and then we got Wingstop afterward.
oh, dude, Culver's is that's S tier fast food right there.
Well, it's S tier when they throw the number on the table and then they'll bring it over to you.
Uh
I think that speaks volumes of what kind of food comes out of that kitchen. So, yeah,
yeah.
I think we all tried their new burger, and already forgot what it was, but it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
pretzel pub burger. It was like
yeah,
oh man.
yeah. And then we were driving home, and our buddies said, "I've never had Wingstop before." And I said, "All right, let's stop."
Well, today's the day. Why not consume 4,000 calories? We walked 20,000 steps. Let's
Yeah,
throw it all away.
I think we did 25,000 or in that neighborhood. Is that the same day that we ended up going to the Mall of America afterwards too? Or was that a different day? I already forgot.
I want to say that's the same day. And I think I remember checking my step count the next morning. I want to say it was like 27,000, but then you look back at all the food and drinks consumed and you're like, okay, and you still end up not
You didn't lose any weight.
deficit at all. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, uh, with your weight loss journey and pretty early into it, are you thinking of getting some sort of membership for the winter time coming up? That's something that I've realized is during the summer times I'm gonna cancel my gym membership, and then during the winter times I'll probably have it. Just because, as you said, in Minnesota it's so hard to get out in the winter, and that might seem like a weak mentality to some that are very strong-willed and are in shape and say no excuses. But to the average person who has, I would say, medium discipline, I would like to work out inside and not suffer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to be working out outside in the heart of the Minnesota winter. Absolutely not.
You could
Yeah. No,
throw on
that's a,
some snow boots and walk through the snow.
yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, maybe one time just to, if you really want to suffer.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is a good point. I guess the apartment I live in has a little gym down here with like treadmills and stuff. It's nothing like super exciting, but probably try to utilize that more. But it's nice during the summer, like after work, to be able to go walk outside. I mean, get a little bit of sunlight, get some steps. You really can't beat that.
Yeah, definitely. What do you do? I know we've talked about it a little bit. You work at a college. Exactly is it that you do?
Yeah, so I work at Rasmussen University. My technical job title is an admissions representative or admissions advisor. So I work with nursing students mainly, like students wanting to get like their RN and become nurses. Help guide them through like the enrollment process for school, help them get like started with school because sometimes like that's the hardest step when you're taking a journey like that is just simply starting. So
Yeah,
it's a lot of guiding them through that process, teaching them about the ups and downs of the program. They have to go through background checks. There's a lot of vaccines and immunizations they have to get. So making sure
really.
they're checking all those boxes. Yeah, because when they're in school, they get assigned to what's like called a clinical rotation, where they get to like go out to actual like clinics and like hospitals and like shadow working nurses.
I
And
see.
so they work with real life patients. Therefore, there's like vaccines they have to get, like a lot of childhood vaccines, like like chicken pox, hepatitis B, stuff like that.
Really? Wow.
Mhm.
Interesting. I remind me to never go into that field. Um,
Yeah, it's my mom. I remember when I was in high school, my mom became a nurse and she was an RN, and I remember her going through all that and going through school, and it was a good reminder. Yeah, I never want to become a nurse or do that at all.
yeah, I have this spirited debate with somebody about medicals and about the effectiveness of vaccines and what one thing that I think is underplayed is the argument that you hear a lot is that well, the expectancy today is a lot longer than it used to be. Therefore, the science is working. To that, I would argue one, infant mortality is significantly lower than it used to be.
Hmm.
So that brings down average age of lifespan. Second, the quality of living was nowhere near what it is today.
No,
When people needed any type of medical care, people never washed their hands in the 1800s, which caused infections.
no, there was
The
poop everywhere too, so people were getting,
sewage,
yeah, it's
yeah,
everywhere, yeah.
yeah. So that's a whole nother topic alone. But I'll just kind of stick to the surface.
Yeah,
I
no, you can. Oh man, there's so much that goes into that, and yeah,
yeah,
it's so. I think the biggest thing is like whether people get it or not is having the freedom to choose to do so. Where like
yeah,
a lot of stuff that's happened over the last couple years, maybe people felt like they didn't have that freedom to choose. Where I think the biggest thing is you do your own research on your own topics, but regardless of what vaccine or immunizations, whatever you're doing, and then you feel you need to do what's best for you. But I think the biggest thing is having the freedom of that choice
yeah.
and making that choice based off like your own research and kind of just a gut feeling.
RFK being appointed at HHS was huge for that, and him firing all 17 members of the CDC board and bringing in, you know, still bringing in PhDs, but these are PhDs are more, I would say, critical of the pharmaceutical companies, which is incredibly important when the two are working together. It's basically anything goes when it goes to feeding something to the public. So
Right. You're not getting a lot of bipartisan decision making or feedback. It's, probably a little bit more one way. And
yeah,
yeah, and I know a big thing with him too is I'm kind of with politics. I've been out of the loop, a little bit lately. I haven't been spending as much time on X or on social media. I've been kind of trying to dial back on that a little bit. But I know a big thing like was the food dyes, right? Trying to cut back on those, like the red dye
yeah,
40, yellow, and all that stuff, right?
yeah, and Kraft or Heinz is removing all of it as of yesterday. They had announced that. So in the next 2 years, there'll be no more food dye in anything Kraft or Heinz.
And I would imagine like yeah, like red Gator. I know Doritos has got to have red dye 40 in it. I'm probably just chocked full of it.
It might. It might. I don't know off the top of my head. Let me ask quick if it has red dye 40 in it. How many bags of Doritos did you used to eat a week?
Well, man, I guess I never ate like a lot of bags per week, but like when I did get a bag, it did not see the next day. I would see the bottom of that bag for sure.
What's your opinion on regular Doritos compared to Cool Ranch?
Ooh, I mean, and Cool Ranch Doritos have their place, but I'm a red bag kind of guy. Or the spicy sweet chili purple bag, crush a bag of those, no problem.
Well, it's spicy nacho.
Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Also, yeah. But Cool Ranch is good, but I'm not crushing a whole bag of Cool Ranch. That's like a mini bag operation.
So yeah, it's red 40, yellow 6, and yellow 5. Have you seen the way that red 40 is produced?
No,
It's this little fucking insect that they juice, and that's how they get the dye. Have
oh,
you have you heard how they get yellow 6?
no.
It's petroleum. It's literally petroleum that they're putting in the food. That's what yellow six is.
Man, that's disgusting.
Isn't that terrible?
Yeah. All for and it's all food dye too. It doesn't have like a much to do with the flavor as much as it does do with like the vibrant color of the food, right? Making it
And
look better.
yeah, exactly. It has nothing to do with the flavor. And the other thing too is I'm no expert when it comes to food dyes, but why wouldn't you use like the pollen of a dandelion? There's tons of dandelions,
Yeah.
and the residue of a dandelion will rub on your fingers. And it's a plant. It's not poisonous. Not
Yeah.
plant, it's a weed,
You're
but
absolutely right. Like think about when you were growing up and you'd grab one and it was
yeah,
all over your hands the rest of the day. I don't
right.
know. Didn't-
Exactly. Yeah. So just something to think about a little bit. I know I've read conspiracies about dandelions where they want us to get rid of dandelions because they're so healthy. Have you ever had like a dandelion salad before?
No, no, I have not.
Dandelion salad is one of it's like a superfood as far as health goes.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
It's very bitter and you have to get it before they bloom. You have to get like the roots. But the conspiracy theory is get rid of all the dandelions so then the people can't take care of themselves and be healthy.
Okay, you know that's funny because I remember mowing the grass all the time growing up and just seeing a bunch of them. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
I'm just gonna type in here dandelion salad health. And
Oh man, I
I'll
don't
read you
know if I could do that.
the stats. Yeah, super nutritious. Liver detox, dandelion leaves and roots help stimulate bile production and flow, which can support liver detoxification and digestion. Traditionally was used to treat liver congestion and sluggish digestion. Rich in antioxidants, so high in polyphenols, beta carotenes, and vitamin C, which help fight inflammation. High in nutrients, vitamin A, C, K, E, B complex, iron, calcium, magnesium, potassium, full of fiber. And then some studies suggest that dandelions may help regulate blood sugar as well and help with cholesterol. So
Damn.
this whole time, what's just growing out of our grass and we're just killing is something that could actually help our bodies.
I think it'd be a shorter list saying the vitamins and minerals it doesn't have. Jesus, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
I know, I know. Isn't that funny? And you know, we have companies that we pay to come out here and spray them with this toxic chemical, and
Get rid of them. Yeah.
and it's treated as I don't want that in my yard. Well, maybe yeah, okay. If you don't want it in your yard, put it in your bowl in your kitchen and eat it.
Yeah, true. No,
I
and you know it's funny too. Think about how healthy that would be for you. I can't. Maybe there's some grocery, like or more organic based grocery stores where you could find that, but I can't even think back one time. I don't think I've ever seen something like that in a
no,
grocery store ever.
you gotta pull them out of the yard,
And
and
they
you
just
gotta make sure your yard hasn't been sprayed or your neighbors don't spray because the spray travels in the air.
It's so common too. Like I remember my dad owns a landscaping company and I used to do that. And it was so common, you know, when people it's so common not only for like people that have like lawn services that come out like mow their yards when they're working all the time, but so common too where like they'll have a company come out and spray with fertilizer or come and
Hmm.
fertilize their yards. And
Yeah,
I don't think people realize like how toxic that can be, especially like if you're a human being, not to go lick the grass after it's been sprayed, but think about like people's pets or say you
yeah.
have a neighbor that lives a couple doors down and you have a dog and they just go happen to like roll around in that grass for a split second and they ingest it or something like that. Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm sure that happens all the time.
I speaking of eating grass, I was watching this video of a jaguar eating an ayahuasca plant in Peru,
Right?
and it was like a History Channel thing. And the History Channel, as you were saying there, they say that cats and dogs like to eat the grass because it kind of helps them. It helps something to do with the fiber in their body, so naturally that's why they'll eat grass sometimes. And again, when people are spraying their yards, you're ruining what God is presenting in front of you. Just water your yard and take care of it.
Yeah.
I also just read this study a couple days ago that people that live within like a mile of a golf course are like 10 times more likely to get Parkinson's disease just from all those chemicals on the golf course. Think about all
Really?
those,
Well,
yeah, yeah. Think about all those people that pay all that money for those houses,
yeah.
and then also the people that walk the course all day long, every single week. I've been wanting to get into golf, but after I read that, I'm now kind of shying away because I don't want to breathe in those chemicals.
No, not a chance. Yeah, remind me never to live close to a golf course.
Don't do it.
Yeah. No, and growing up, I mean, there was a golf course that was kind of nearby, but yeah, I guess that's something you don't even think about how treated that grass is, like and all the stuff they're doing to it. You don't even think about that.
Yeah.
And I think that just is kind of a testament to the daily lives we have, like everything, like kind of even everything from what we, the red dye 40 to our lawns to the air. There's just chemicals and pesticides and toxins like everywhere, it seems like.
Chemtrails.
Or like even on like receipt paper stuff too. I think I
Oh
saw,
yeah, the thermal paper, right?
yeah. And I saw something about that, like just a random article, and I just kind of passively scrolled by it now because to me it was like, okay, well, of course there's chemicals on that. I mean, there's chemicals in everything, so why wouldn't there be chemicals in that?
Yeah, so all right, thermal paper, here we go. BPA and BPS exposure. So BPA, if you don't know, when you buy your Tupperware, try to get BPA free because a lot of times when people put their BPA plastic into the microwave, it melts the
Oh,
plastic into the food.
yeah.
BPA
Ugh.
was widely used as a coating on thermal paper, and it's an endocrine disruptor, meaning it can interfere with hormones, particularly estrogen. So that's what it was, fertility issues. Thermal paper causes fertility issues and developmental problems in children. So every single time that your kid is holding that Costco receipt to check out,
Rip it out of their hands.
rip it out of their hands and
Throw that
don't
thing
let the lady
away.
that's writing the smiley face give it back to your kid. Rip it up into pieces. Isn't this incredible? Literally everything. And another topic is, the blue screens on our phones and on our laptops. If it was red, they say screens wouldn't be so addicting. Yet we have blue screens instead of red screens.
We're all just pigs falling in line, aren't
we're
we?
we're test subjects.
Pretty much, yeah.
What it is. I was planning on having a light conversation today, lighthearted, and every single time it just leads right back to this. And I think that's what makes all of this so fun.
It's kind of natural to get into the nitty gritty topics, though. I mean, you can
Yeah.
always keep things light and fun, and there's times and places for that. But sometimes it's just natural to get into the stuff that matters. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially when it impacts our daily life, and you might not even know it until 20, 30 years down the road. Like say, someone does live close to a golf course, and then they turn 55 and get diagnosed with Parkinson's or something like that. Like
Yeah.
people aren't having enough of those kinds of conversations. I think people just live their daily lives and touch receipt paper, and before they know it, their child's in development classes. It's like, what the hell? What happened?
I think about that too because if my when my 2-year-old was being restless in the car, I'd be like, here you go, and I'd hand her a piece of receipt paper, and she'd be like, whoa. It's like shit. What am I supposed to hand her? I don't want to hand her a piece of cardboard because who knows, probably the curator in the cardboard box factory had some sort of chemical sprayed on it. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm sure.
it's, one other thing that I don't think a lot of people think about is how sensitive people can be to smells and certain smells.
Yeah.
And one really big epidemic that is going unspoken is VOCs, especially in like laundry detergents. When I go outside, I smell like three different neighbors' laundry detergents in the air. And I live close to somebody with a super sensitive nose and gets sick anytime that they smell that toxic chemical. And it's everywhere. And then sometimes when people wash their clothes, they'll use like those dryer sheets and then their clothes come out smelling like that and you're inhaling it all day long on your shirts and on your pants. I don't see why there has to be any kind of detergent. Why just wash your clothes with no scent and then, throw on some deodorant and maybe a cologne. Again, make sure your deodorant doesn't have aluminum in it, so it can't enter your
Oh man.
bloodstream and ruin your kidneys. But
Oh man, now that's just another thing I gotta think. I need to look up and see if my deal. I don't think mine does. I use that, but you never know. I'll have to look in on that. But it to that point with like the laundry, like with the when it comes out of that air filter or like kind of
Yeah,
that in the apartment I live in, it's of course you are surrounded, you live with hundreds of people. If you walk outside or like, or if I go on my balcony, sometimes you do get faint whiffs of it because they have those like
yeah,
that what would be the air outtake that pushes it out into like just the world. And then yeah, no,
right.
if people are doing their laundry, you can smell that stuff. And if someone's sensitive to it, yeah, they could be sitting on their balcony just, enjoying dinner, just enjoying the day. And then before they know it, if it's someone like who you live by, they're getting sick.
We were having a county meeting about an apartment going up kind of in our neighborhood, and she brought it up. She said, because they were taking questions about the apartment, she said, "Well, what about the smell? What are you going to do about when people do their laundry? Where's the smell going to go? Where's the vent going to be?" And of course, the guy said, "Nobody's ever asked that before."
I mean, it's a valid question and something a lot of people wouldn't often bring up.
No, no, and of course that's the top of her mind. Yeah, so anyways, long story short, the apartment never went up.
All right, right on. That's funny.
But yeah, and going over to deodorants, I use salt. It's a salt stick. Yeah.
You kind of rub on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's another one that I read the other night about table salt, how we've been told no, low salt, low salt. The areas of the world that have followed those rules and have less salt have like a lower like a 12 to 15 lower lifespan on average than people that actually use good mineral salt. And I'm not
Yeah.
talking about Morton's table salt. I'm talking about either Celtic sea salt, Baja Gold, or pink Himalayan salt. Not the pink Himalayan salt from Iran, but the pink Himalayan salt from the Himalayan mountains. You have to check
Mhm.
the back of your package for that because there's some fuckery that goes on with that.
I'm sure, just like with everything, right? We're
Hmm.
dyeing it and it's fake. I do really like that pink Himalayan salt. I have some in my cupboard. I'll have to double check on that to see if it's legit. But
Depends
again,
how much you paid for it. If it's cheap, it's most likely from
I'm
Iran.
sure, if you buy it from like a Walmart or Cub Foods or something streamlined like that, you got to probably really go out of your way to make sure you're buying the good stuff.
You gotta go to Whole Foods. That's the place.
Yeah, there is a Whole Foods not too far from me.
Yeah. I here's a non-controversial topic. Hot moms shop at Whole Foods. I've been shopping there for like the last 4 weeks.
Okay, I need to get over to Whole Foods.
It's the greatest shopping experience ever. It hands down. It's
Organic food and hot moms. I mean,
it's great. And I'm not creepy about it. I just enjoy the scenery, that's all, you know.
there's nothing creepy about enjoying that. I mean,
Yeah, right.
we're going there for the organic food, but I mean, the cherry on top, if there's going to be some good looking moms there, I mean, we're not going to be complaining about that.
It's just incredible. And maybe it's because it's Maple Grove, but you'll have to go to the one over in your area and you can either confirm or deny.
I will have to check it. Is that where we got that chocolate milk?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That chocolate milk was good.
For those who don't know, we after a walk that Gavin and I did, we stopped at Whole Foods after and got a chocolate milk, and then we went to a Brazilian steakhouse and ate meat for the next 25 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. It'd be hard to dial in the amount of calories or protein we had from the meat, but it was just like every time the guys came by, it didn't matter if it was the sausage, the chicken, like steak, beef, whatever it was. Yeah, put it on the plate. Let's go. Like, oh
Eh,
yeah, it's
Have
good.
you ever been to Fogo de Chao?
No, but that's funny you bring that up because someone was just talking to me about that at work yesterday, saying that because of course, like I love steak, chicken, like
Hmm.
all of that kind of stuff, and try and eat more of like an animal and plant-based diet. Try to cut out processed foods.
Yep.
But yeah, someone was bringing that up and said it'd be perfect for me, but I've never been there.
Okay. It'd be good for you to go and compare that to Rodizio and see which one you like better. Me personally, I liked Rodizio better,
Okay,
but a lot of people like Fogo better. It's personal preference.
similar.
I wouldn't fight you either way.
Okay, is it similar in cost?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I will have to check that out. It'd be tough to top that Rodizio experience. I've never done something like that before.
Yeah.
Even the grilled pineapple, that was
Hmm.
when they
Yeah.
were bringing that to the table. That was so good.
For anybody that hasn't been to a Brazilian steakhouse, I'll kind of explain it. So you have this little tiki on your table. One side's red and one side's green. And when you flip it over to green, it's kind of free game for any of these servers to come on over, and they have this big stick of meat, and they just continue coming over. There's like at least 8 or 9 of them carrying different cuts of meat. If it's green, they'll come over and be like, "Do you want some of the garlic steak, Parmesan garlic steak?" And they'll slice it off. Do you want the medium rare side or the medium well side? And they'll slice it on your plate. And it's nonstop food, especially if it's green. It doesn't stop coming to the table.
It seems like at least every 30 seconds to a minute they're coming by. You like physically do have to go out of your way to flip that thing over, or
Hmm.
else they're there.
Yeah, yeah. And I personally, I love that experience. I might even go today. I don't know. I'm
That does
thinking
sound
about it.
pretty good. That does sound pretty good.
It does sound good.
It
Yeah.
sounds really good.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
I think I'm due for a big meat eating session. I mean, it's been a while since I've probably had 250 grams of protein in a day or whatever we get after that. See, after that walk, that was more justified to go eat that, a little bit more of a lean meal, whereas the
yeah, that was
last,
protein. You were eating all protein.
yeah. And then of course too, not we didn't really go to the salad bar too much, but the last one with I remember after eating that Culver's and Wingstop, don't get me wrong, it was good. But you feel a little bogged down the rest of the day after that.
Oh yeah, that. And then we went to Mall of America after that. Uh, Yeah.
Yeah, too many calories.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But the protein you definitely can justify after doing a
Sure.
25,000-mile walk. I mean, you got it. You have to feed your muscles somehow.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you gone back to that state park at all over the last couple weeks?
Yeah, a couple of times. We yeah, with it kind of being like wet and rainy, it's been more or less just kind of walking down that tarred path where, I think if you kind of park where we usually do, if you walk all the way up and all the way down, you do hit just maybe a little short of 10,000 steps, but of course all
Yeah.
your residual steps throughout the day, if you go do that, you're hitting 10,000 plus, no problem.
Me and a buddy, we went there last Friday early in the morning, and we found way, way, way off the beaten path. We were literally hiking on the edge of a rock for about a mile and a half.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was incredibly difficult also. I think we finished the day with about 27,000, but there were times where it was like, am I gonna fall? Like it was narrow, but it was a lot of fun. It That part of the park, you as you would walk along this off the beaten trail, you could say you would find little campsites that, had you could tell somebody maybe had a campfire there. And I was kind of thinking to myself, oh God, is this homeless or is there something
Yeah.
else back here?
Mind starts to wander a little bit and
Yeah, yeah, but at the same time, it's it was really, really fun. You know how I like to go off road, so
yeah,
uh,
right on. Well, and that's the thing. Not all steps are created equal. Like
yeah,
someone could take 12,000 steps in a day. Doing some off roading like that. Doing incline, and they're burning a lot more calories. Where if someone's just like walking like flat on a treadmill for the same amount of steps, it's definitely not all steps are created the same.
I agree. I agree. Using a lot more different muscles and
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So we kind of talked about it a little bit before we hit record. I'm going to bring it up. I have a power ranking here in honor of the season. This is a
I
power ranking of graduation food, 10 through 1. Now, personally, I haven't been at a graduation in like probably 10 years.
It's been a long time for me too. It's funny though, I have my cousin who just graduated high school and her grad party is next weekend.
Okay.
That'll be the first one I've been to in probably about the same amount of time. It's been years.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm giving you something to think about, I think.
Yes. I
Yeah.
you know the those this like the pulled pork sliders, or like the crock pot of pulled pork. I know we talked about that one.
Mhm.
That's and especially you got to get those like the King's Hawaiian rolls. Get that involved a little bit too. Oh,
You better make sure that you maintain your good diet until you go to that graduation party for your cheat day.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if there's pulled pork sliders there, it's game over. Oh man. And then we see meatballs. I know I brought up like the little weenies, but
Yeah.
that wasn't on the list, which is fine because those aren't super good, but those just are common like
Those are a filler. Yeah,
Crock-pot.
those are a filler. Maybe what you hear on this list, you could say I would put weenies in this spot.
Okay.
So number 10, store-bought cookies. They show up, but do they ever actually deliver?
Yeah, you're right. It's like especially like the big packs from like Costco or Sam's Club. Yeah,
Yeah, I really dislike the taste of fake sugar.
yeah,
If you're People pick on me about this, but if you're gonna eat sweets, eat vegan sweets. Vegan sweets taste so damn good because a lot of times the sugar is either made with like molasses or honey. It's not a processed corn syrup that they're making it with, and it always just tastes so much more real and moist. And anyway, store-bought cookies number 10. Yeah. Number 9, veggie tray. It's necessary, but nobody ever touches it. That
it,
ranch sits there all day long.
oh, and like, and then the carrots, like think about the carrots. They start with like they're a little bit moist and like they have like that vibrant orange. By the end of the day, they
They're
start to wilt and like turn that whitish color
and
to,
they get cracked and
yeah,
dry. And,
yeah, veggie
yeah,
tray. I mean, it seems like a necessity. There's always like one or two people that throw some veggies on their tray, but come on, if you're at a grad party, are we gonna try to be healthy and eat veggies? No, 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 no.
if you have a potluck, don't be the guy to bring the veggie tray.
Yeah,
Think
it's
of
a
something else.
total cop out.
Yeah, yeah. Total cop out. Total cop out. Especially if somebody spends their night making pulled pork and then you're the guy to bring the veggie tray. Don't
Yeah,
do it. Don't do it. Bring something else. Be
party foul.
creative. Number 8, cupcakes. They always look better than they taste.
That's true. They always do. They always look so good, and then you take a bite and you're always underwhelmed.
And it goes back again to that fake sugar. It's something about that taste. Now, if the cupcakes had like a homemade frosting that weren't again made with processed sugars, I would move the cupcakes higher. But your typical grad party usually gets again the bulk pack of
Store
cupcakes.
bought, yeah. And I think about that. That's funny too, because as I've been going to Sam's Club lately, right when you walk in the door,
Hmm.
they're like advertising their big bulk pack of cupcakes since it's graduation season. And it'd
Right?
be the same thing. They look so good every time I walk by them. It's like, oh man, I kind of want one of those right now. But then as soon as you take a bite, totally underwhelmed.
Yes. Yes. All right. This is where things start to get a little dicey, and this could be where you could say, okay, swap this with this. All right. So number 7, we've got fruit kebabs.
Root kebab. Okay.
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, yeah, and I like fruit kebabs too. A little pineapple, some grapes,
Strawberries, maybe.
watermelon for a hot day. What's your opinion on seedless watermelon, by the way?
I guess I've only ever ate seedless watermelon.
There's a reason for that.
Is it genetically modified to be like that or what?
Well, the seeds have way more nutrients in them, so they don't want us to have the seeds.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, that's kind of on par with everything else.
All the nutrients are in the seeds and not in the watermelon itself. If you knew that or not, I don't know, but
Well, I guess you learn something new every day. Today, I've learned all the watermelon I've eaten is for naught because there's no damn seeds in it.
yeah, and you also learned dandelions were good.
Yeah,
Yeah. So now you're gonna have to eat seeded watermelon and dandelions. That's gonna be your new diet.
it's all part of, yeah.
We're
It's
gonna
all encompassing on the weight loss journey.
we're gonna get you shredded. All right. All right. Number 6, crockpot meatballs.
Yeah, definitely getting behind that, like barbecue meatballs, whatever, homemade barbecue sauce, store-bought it doesn't matter. Just throw it in there, let it simmer for a while.
Yeah.
Meatballs have a place at grad parties for sure.
They do have a place. I'll give you that. That's about it for me. I again, the whole barbecue sauce thing, I'm not a big fan of barbecue sauce in general again, unless it's I sound like a snob on this episode today, but unless barbecue sauce is homemade, if it comes from like Baby Ray's out of the bottle,
Oh, you're not a fan of Sweet Baby Ray's?
I'm not. No, it's
Oh,
yeah, too much sugar. Again, too much sugar
it is
for me.
chocked full of sugar, and that's
Yeah.
probably why I like it so much. But yeah, I'm a big barbecue sauce guy, but of course, chocked full of sugar.
Yes. Yes. All right. Number 5, we have chips and dip. So if you have your chips and store-bought salsa, I enjoy store-bought salsa
Yeah,
personally.
I enjoy the store bought stuff, but like if it's homemade, it's better. But you don't
Yeah.
always have the time to do that. I'll yeah, like
Yeah.
Tostitos salsa. That's always like right on like on the shelf, right under the chips. Yeah,
A next level dip would be like an artichoke dip.
ooh, or like a street corn dip,
Or
queso.
yeah, or if you have queso, queso's number one on this list.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. But if not many parties have queso.
No, not really, but it's such an easy thing to put in the crock pot. You
Yeah,
just have
if it's got to be queso blanco and
one.
it's got to have that it's got to have that spice to it, that pepper jack spice. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Here we go. Number 4, we have pasta salad. So your pasta with like those little olives and the pepperonis, the Italian
Yeah.
vinaigrette. That's a nice cold filling meal.
I'm
I
getting down with that too. Yeah.
I enjoy some good pasta salad. That's
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
remember my grandma made one of those for my grad party, and yeah, it was good. So yeah, that with like some meatballs and the fruit on the plate. Okay, I'm getting behind
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Number 3, sandwich platters.
that. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like the Jimmy John's things where they do the quartered sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down with that. I'm down with
That
that.
that's good. Number 2, pulled pork sliders, as we spoke about. Pulled
Mhm.
pork is a I think a staple of parties for sure.
100%.
There
Yeah.
is one thing I left off this list that we'll talk about afterwards that you can tell me if I snubbed it or not. Lastly, this is where things get serious. Number 1. Before I say what number 1 is, I just want to add a little bit more drama to number 1.
All right.
That's all I got. All right, number 1, taco bar.
Taco bar.
A
I have
taco bar.
never been to a grad party with a taco bar, but
Not going,
that'd be perfect.
you're not going to the right grad parties.
Apparently not. Oh man, taco bar?
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. I mean, you can't beat it. Do you
Uh,
have any disagreements with anything on that list?
everything has its place. Of course, we kind of went over the veggie tray one. The veggie tray needs to be on the list because every grad party you go to, it's gonna have it.
Hmm.
Or like any potluck, it feels like you talk about, it's gonna have it. Someone's always bringing the veggie tray, but like the veggie tray, I think doesn't need to be brought.
No, no. It can be left at home. All right. My biggest snub, hot dogs.
Ooh, yeah, that
Yeah,
does snub because yeah, I suppose a lot of grad parties like grilling up some hamburgers and hot dogs, just bulk. Like
yeah. You don't see a whole lot of the whole grill out ideology when it comes to a grad party.
I guess it's more of a crock pot situation where you kind of just let it sit there.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's why I left hot dogs off the list because I've never associated a grilled hot dog with a grad party. Now, if there were grilled hot dogs with grad parties, grilled hot dogs would be on the list because I love when a hot dog has like that char on it.
Detail marks on it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it has those grill marks, and then you throw some mustard and maybe some like diced onions on top.
You a relish guy?
I'm not a relish guy.
Ooh, I'm a big relish guy. Relish on the hot dog, little mustard.
Yeah, yeah.
Cream.
You can't do ketchup. Don't do ketchup.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not. I mean, I will, but if I'm making my own and have a preference, yeah, like mustard relish. The diced onions would be good too, like on a chili dog, especially. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, definitely. And then if like, you have a brat also. I mean, brat's a whole nother league. But again, if you grill it, you got that crispiness and you got to have the right bun also. You can't have those cheap little MVP buns that you get for like $2 for like 8. You got to get a good quality bun too.
You do like bakery style buns for sure. Like that, it's just like when you eat a sandwich, like the bread or the bun, whatever it is, that can really make or break what you're eating.
Definitely, definitely. Bread's important and it's something I don't eat a whole lot of anymore. But when I do, I try to find unenriched bread, which is really hard to find.
Well, I would imagine so. Yeah, unless you're really specifically looking for it. I mean, maybe it's a little bit easier at Whole Foods, but like, I do a lot of my shopping at like Cub Foods or Sam's Club, and you got to be pretty diligent if you're really, you got to go out of your way to try to get stuff that's, reading your food labels. That's a big thing on when you're like on like trying to lose weight and tracking your calories, you become really hyper aware of like like, hey, like how many calories are in certain foods, and like, you just get in the habit of like looking at that nutrition label on everything you buy. And naturally, as you look at the calories, protein, I really like to look at the added sugars too,
Hmm.
as try to condense that as much as possible. Then naturally, you start looking at the ingredient list too, and and to me, it's like the shorter the list, usually the better. If it has less ingredients, it's usually probably going to be better than something that has a laundry list of ingredients.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time. I when you mentioned added sugars, I think a lot about pop, and I could drink so much pop all the time.
Oh,
And
100%.
especially when I was working on the road a lot, I would stop at a gas station and, fill up like a one of those big stupid gas station
Yeah, like
cups.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like at the holidays, 7-Elevens all have them. It's just, yeah. Think about like if you do get a soda or pop that has like calories in it, and you're not drinking a diet soda. One of those, you could be drinking like 2 days worth of calories, and you're just drinking it. You're not even eating.
I know, I know. And the if you think about it too, if your cup is this big, here is how much sugar is in it,
Yeah,
and the
it's
rest
just
is liquid. Your cells in your body are screaming at you like, what are you doing to me? Damn, is pop good though? God,
it's
that
so good.
I
Did you
don't.
have like a go to like Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, Pepsi? What was your kryptonite?
Well, when you said holiday, I like a Dr. Pepper, and then I would squirt like a vanilla shot into it. Oh man, that's good. And I'm not saying not ever have it ever again, but like maybe once every couple months or something, just to
It's got to
treat
be a
yourself.
seldom treat, like day to day. That's a big thing too, when you're tracking your calories and you are condensing how much you're eating, you don't want to waste calories on liquid because it's not
No,
it's not satiating you. So it's like, yeah, coffee, water, like, or like a 0 calorie, I really like the Zevias. I buy those at Costco.
yeah,
Of course they have no nutritional benefit for you, but it kind of gives you that. If you do have like a hankering for a pop, it kind of just gets rid of
cures
that.
the craving.
Yeah, for sure. 0 calories too, so it's kind of,
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
it's not bad for you in that
I'll
sense.
if I want kind of like a little bit of flavor that kind of cures my itch, is I'll do water with a capful of apple cider vinegar and
Yeah.
lemon.
I've
And
tried apple cider vinegar, like just like straight up.
yeah, it's strong. Just do a
It's
little cap.
it was pretty intense.
Yeah, just do a little cap in your water. It's really good for inflammation.
Okay.
And if you add lemon as well, it gives it like a nice flavor. It definitely cures the whole itch to drink something with some sort of bite to it. That's the best way I can explain it. But
Yeah.
I'm so hooked on just getting some sort of flavor in me. That's what I do to cure it. Now, I do admit I still, and my Starbucks drink is only 200 calories, but I will waste a day having a Starbucks drink and not eating anything throughout the whole entire day because I still feel guilty. Like I think I drank my calories today, even though it says it's only 200 calories. I feel like it's more. It's got to be. It tastes way too good.
Yeah, I remember you let me try that when you ordered it. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. For anybody that wants to know my Starbucks order, it's a shaken espresso with oat milk and a vanilla sweet cream cold foam, extra cold foam. Oh my goodness. It's
Delectable. I remember, yeah, you gave me a sip of that, and it's like, okay, yeah. Like I've never understood the hype of like the Starbucks and the Caribou, but it all kind of made sense in that one sip. I was like, oh yeah, this is good.
you can't get that drink at Caribou. That's a Starbucks drink.
And what's funny, Caribou, is that more of like a Midwest Minnesota
Yeah.
thing? Starbucks is like, they're big. Like everyone's a big star, like Starbies, like, right? But Caribou doesn't seem like as big of a deal.
Yeah, and a lot of people, because Caribou or Starbucks gets a little bit political, so people like to shy away from Starbucks for that reason. But
Mm.
to be perfectly honest, Starbucks has the coffee. They just do. Look,
Yeah.
look past all the bullshit, whatever. I'll still shop at Target. I don't care if I need something. I'm not going to go out of my way to go to Target. Don't get me wrong, but if it's next to me and I need something, I'm going to go buy it. I'm not going to drive over to Walmart. to satisfy whatever it is I'm trying to buy.
Yeah,
But
it's more just an ease of use. Like it's just like I mean, yeah, it's like kind of the same thing with like Chick-fil-A or something like that. Like I mean, I don't eat a lot of Chick-fil-A anymore, but when I'd go there, like I didn't really like think about any like political or religious affiliations they had. I was like, no, I'm just craving some nugs and Chick-fil-A sauce right now. Like
yeah, like that's just
not that deep.
yeah. Sometimes we think about things a little bit too much, and we just need to. I think we need to appreciate Starbucks for what it is, and it's a damn good coffee shop. All the racial sensitivities training that they do, and then they canceled it, which then made all the libs super upset. So now, you have people that are upset that they had racial sensitivity training that don't drink it. And then after they cancel it, now the libs are upset. And then, the other side wants to drink the coffee. So,
Well, and I feel like that's the world we live in is like no matter what decision is made, there's always going to be a select group of people, whether it's 50-50, 60-40, 70-30. There's always going to be people mad about something. There's really no
yeah,
happy median with a lot of things. So, yeah,
right.
just drink coffee. And I mean, I, yeah, any of the political stuff or whatever. I mean, when I took a sip of that coffee, I wasn't thinking about that. I was
You
just
weren't
thinking,
you weren't thinking about racial sensitivity training. You were thinking
oh,
about your taste buds.
I was,
Yeah, that should be their ad.
yeah, it
Think about
should.
your taste buds.
That would get, oh, that would get some engagement.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I should clip that and send it to them. What's
Oh,
uh, what's the dating life like? You got anything going on?
oh, no, no, not really.
Yeah, same.
I mean, we won't beat around the bush here. These last couple of years, it's really been more just focused on my career, trying to create financial stability long term, and also too, trying to spend more time with my family. I have, of course, 5 little brothers and sisters, trying to see them as often as possible, even though still not as often as I'd like. But you could just get busy with work, life, stuff you got to do day to day.
Yeah.
But yeah, long story short, dating life is, yeah, I would say it's minimalistic.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when the right one comes along, they will. But
What about you? How's that? How's it all going?
talking to somebody right now. Um, but other than that, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, there's always talking, right? Like here and there.
Right, right. And these things they go in little spurts and then they dissipate. And I, I'm not looking for anything serious at this time. And as you said, I have a lot to focus on right now as far as financial stability goes. And I've made this clear multiple times on this podcast, but I'm searching for freedom. And one thing that I had come to my mind yesterday was, you know, I say to myself and I say to other people, I'm chasing my dreams, I'm chasing my dreams.
Hmm.
And since I've been back from Costa Rica, I have been chasing my dreams. And that's something that I guess I never did when I was younger. And what I'm realizing about that is as I've been chasing my what I thought were my dreams, as I got into the minutia and the details of what those dreams were, I was now realizing maybe that isn't my dream after all. It was more so a fantasy.
That's a
And if you never chase your dreams, you don't know what your dreams are. That's what I realized last night.
yeah.
And
100%.
yeah, and I've what I thought was going to be in my life with, building up this LLC, this reseller that I'm working on right now. I thought that was just going to be like a side project, but honestly, I'm happiest when I'm doing that. And I'm realizing, okay, you know what? This it wasn't what I thought was my dream, but since I've been in it, I have a real opportunity right now to work for myself for the rest of my life, make my own schedule. And
Answered anyone. And sometimes those kinds of things, you don't realize how much you like it. Or like you said, it might be your dream or something that you love doing until you try it. And I think that's why it's important when people are young to try a bunch of different things. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing to try and fail. It's a bad thing to just not try at all. I mean,
I would say the biggest mistake early on in my life, in my early 20s, is not getting married young, but instead it was sticking with the same job for over a decade. Because, and I don't regret the experience I got. I've always been a loyal employee anywhere I've ever went, but I'm realizing that I didn't go around and test out different things. I didn't go out and I didn't network. I I enclosed my circle of people to the industry that I was in,
Mhm.
and I didn't go out and try new things. And it when I got to my 30s and I was done with that job, it got to a point where I was like, I don't really know anybody outside this industry. I don't know what I want to do when I'm 30 years old. Um, there was just a lot of confusion. And then on top of that, getting divorced, so if you think about it, I was not only committed to one person throughout my 20s, but I was also committed to
Yeah.
one job.
So that
And
would make sense, that you're chasing that freedom because you're probably having the most amount of freedom you've maybe had in your adult life.
exactly,
Definitely a
exactly.
nice, and definitely a nice change of pace, of course. I mean, it's never too late to go out and chase the things you love and find out new things. Like I feel like I always see about like the KFC, the Colonel Sanders, like how he was like 70, 80 years old when he finally started KFC. So it's like never too late to like really chase what you love. Like it's just a matter of you just sometimes the hardest part is taking that first step and just doing it and putting yourself out there.
Taking the chance is always scary. But I would say to anybody that is in any way successful with their job that they do right now and they enjoy that security that they get, that paycheck every week, that those insurance benefits, go out and take that chance. You're going to be fine. You're not going to be homeless
Right.
because you already proved to yourself that you can be a functional member of society within a corporation. All that time and all that sweat equity that you're putting into somebody else's company, put it into yourself. We're
100%.
and especially with automation coming along, it's more important than ever to embrace some skills that maybe promote yourself more than a working skill, because all of our working skills are going to be obsolete. There's no doubt.
Oh, 100%. And I was actually, it's funny. I was just talking to a good buddy of mine back from college. He's a master electrician and he worked for a really good, like kind of more of a smaller, I wouldn't say like mom and pop, but a smaller locally owned electric company. And they got bought out by a bigger corporation. And anyways, he's no longer working there, but he's wanting to go into business for himself, and it's the same thing. It's like you're going to be doing the same. Of course, there's a lot of extra variables with that when you run your own company. It's all on you, the weight's on your shoulders, but you got to take pride in the fact, and you're in a similar situation with what you're doing. Like there's a lot more pride in doing it for yourself and not doing it for someone else. And
Yeah.
like when it's your name put on it, there's a lot of pride in that, and that's a good thing.
Think about that. You put 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week sometimes into a job for somebody else. And yeah, they pay you, but what do you get out of it? You can't sell you can't sell that company someday. All that sweat equity that you put into that company, growing that business, promoting that business, hiring for that business, you don't actually really get a slice of the pie
No,
when you think about it.
no,
You
not at all.
if you make $100,000 and you work for a corporation that makes 5 billion, you get, pennies on the dollar,
You're
essentially.
just cogging the wheel essentially at that point.
Exactly, exactly. And with cryptocurrency, I think being the forefront of decentralization, the medical industry going into a decentralization, the next thing is people going into a decentralization. We don't need corporations anymore to run
No.
this world. We've found now that corporations influence political uh, ideologies.
100%, especially in our capitalist country too. I mean, you see that all the time, especially with like big pharma companies, like how they have their hand in political affiliations they're in the back pocket of certain political people funding their campaigns and funding whatever they're doing. So of course, whether it's a senator, congress person, like it's this, of course, that's going to dictate their decision making. They're not doing it for the people. They're doing it for a big corporation, and it's not benefiting, 99% of the company. It's benefiting the 1%. And I think eventually, we will work our way out of that. But of course, all of those types of things are just going to take time. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of division in our world right now too. I think a good first step in that direction would be, unifying at least to a certain extent and getting people on the same page with certain things where right now it doesn't seem like there's a lot of that happening.
I could argue that the decentralization of corporations would begin unifying people, because at that
Yeah.
point now we're relying on our neighbors for resources and goods rather than just going to a Walmart.
And we're forced to work together too, to a certain extent. It's like, hey, you
Yeah,
can't not work
right.
together. have to, and there's
Hmm.
always going to be differences in opinion between people. Like even, people you're friends with, you might have things you differ on, but at
Right,
the end of the day, if you can see eye to eye and work together and be cordial and respect
right.
one another, that's all you need.
Yeah, you have the cows, you make the milk and cut the beef, and I have the lamb and I shave the lamb's wool and provide you with material for clothes.
Right.
That's the trade. And I made an argument on my last episode that quantum computing is going to make money meaningless. I got a little bit of pushback on that because uh, they said that, well, then quantum computing will make their own encryption. But the way I see it, and the more that I read up on it, it's still going to be able to crack it. And
Mhm.
so you need to, a person needs to find some sort of personal value, something that they can offer to the world rather than here's my resume, this is where I've worked. More so a skill set of some sort. And the other fun thing I think about running a business is if I get it off the ground and I get things moving and I'm a very organized person, if things are organized correctly, businesses are easy to sell if they have a name and a reputation.
Oh yeah,
You're
100%.
you're sitting on an asset.
That's very, very true.
Yeah. So just something to think about, I guess.
Food for thought there.
Yeah, food for thought. Do you have anything else to add today? What else do you got?
Hmm. Man, yeah, no, I mean, because I was thinking prior about the graduation food, and then we went into a lot of other good stuff. I didn't know we'd talk about. This has been good.
That's great. That's great. We should have you on again. So
100%. Yeah, and we got
yeah,
to hang out soon. I'm still thinking, man, we got to do the 50,000 step day. We'll start early in the morning.
yeah,
Maybe we'll even have like backpacks. We'll like pack a lunch or something.
sure.
Some beef jerky, bunch some water bottles, some trail mix or something like.
Some bologna sandwiches.
All right. See now it's that preemptive problem solving ability you have. See, you're just doing it already. We'll pack a little cooler, and then yeah, we'll like stop halfway. Get to 25,000. Eat a little lunch, and then just keep going.
I like that idea. I like that idea. We'll have to coordinate that. Maybe sometime next week. I'll look at my schedule. We'll coordinate it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but thank you for having me on. Yeah, this is cool. When you texted me the other day, I was like, oh yeah, right on, dude. Let's do it.
That's awesome. Well, anybody that is still listening, thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, comment. We posted to YouTube. Eventually, I will be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. And then go check out the Instagram page, Jesse Hunt 454 for clips and extra content.